So Andrew Tate has this app called The Real World that just got banned off of the Google App Store because it's allegedly a pyramid scheme. And this sounds familiar based on
the same thing
my
as
research into Hustlers University.
Yeah, it's just the rebrand of Hustlers University.
Now, Willie, you've done a lot of videos about Andrew Tate.
Andrew Tate, I've done a lot of videos
critical.
There's a $20 one there from...
oh, real quick, let's read this
Dango
$20
Knight.
super chat.
Woo.
He said... Wait, no, I don't see it here.
So
he says, question, did you guys see what Doja Cat had done with her latest music video? She clearly sold her soul. Look, I'm just, like, I get it, but I'm one of those people where, like, I just see it and I see try hard. I see try hard.
I think that she is demonically influenced, but also is a cringe lord.
She's mega cringe.
Who wants to be edgy at the same time. But continue what you were saying about, like, what compelled you to, like, start making content about Andrew Tate? Like, that's how I found you.
Yeah.
Essentially, like, I thought those videos were the only concise, informative things I could find about him on the entire internet. Like, literally, I tried so hard to figure out anything true and verifiable about Andrew Tate and all the controversy. I found nothing from mainstream media outlets. And from YouTubers, it's just a whole ass mess because everyone is partisan about him.
So the problem with Andrew Tate is when, you know, I was kind of in the same boat where I thought, okay, maybe this guy's got a bunch of false accusations against him. And then I actually started to look into it. And my main, you know, when looking up actual sources, much like you, Mary, all you run into is articles about how he's misogynistic and he's mean to women, and it's like all this stuff we've known about for 2 years, right? It's
every bad thing that he's said about women.
Exactly. At this point in 2023, I really don't care if he's misogynistic or not. I get it. I'm like beyond the meme, right? I understand that point. So all I started doing was going to Romanian news sources. And as it turns out, in Romania, they don't really care if you're misogynistic or not. They're more writing articles like, yo, did this guy sex traffic a bunch of women? You know, is he actually teaching other people how to sex traffic women? And as it turns out, like, yeah, he is. There's all sorts of transcripts and, you know, Tate is the Romanian FBI.
You're like doing the stuff that is relatively easy and obvious.
Yeah, it should be obvious.
The journalists are not really willing to do. And like, what is the state of the media if only independent YouTubers are actually putting in the work?
Well, I think that's kind of the great part about, you know, the internet is that the average person, you could have like an independent journalist, like actually take up a case and look into stuff and then get some traction. But, yeah, when it came to like right-leaning stuff like Tucker Carlson's interview, he was like completely unaware that he's even like being charged.
I sensed that with the Candace.
Yeah, Candace Owens was the same way
as well.
And then when you look at like the BBC, they're talking about how like, oh, him smoking a cigar is misogynistic. It's like shit that does not matter, right?
Right.
But what was cool is like right after I made my videos, the BBC actually did release an article citing the exact same sources I was using.
They're like, oh,
like covering the same thing.
Look, this was all public on the internet.
Yeah, like so.
That's wild. You know, like that was available to everyone the whole time.
Yeah, exactly. Now, when it comes to this real world app being banned and bringing it back to that topic, I think it is because he's just really bad press. I don't really think, you know, I really don't think the courses on this app, which I've looked through and I've signed up for, and for like the $50 or whatever.
Did you become a hustler?
So I try to become a hustler. It's just all like really like low end like internet scams, like you know, what is it, drop shipping and stuff, like going into crypto and stuff like that, where it's like, unless you get in early, you're probably not going to make any money from it. I don't really think it's a pyramid scheme. They call it a pyramid scheme because there's a referral
Here's
code.
one of the problems I have with what they said is, so a person started like a petition, which is, it's really funny. Somebody named Nathan Pope tried to get a petition going to get these apps banned, and it got 9,000 signatures, and that's just
because they hate Andrew Tate.
And says an illegal pyramid scheme. I'm like, you need to you have to prove that though. Like calling it an illegal pyramid scheme means that I need to know, like, was this proven in a court of law? And then also the quote was, this did bother me. Like, again, I have no strong opinions. I look at Andrew Tate as like as a media figure. He's somebody to laugh at, either because I saw this amazing video the other day. It's him interacting with Captain America. I'll send it to you. It's the funniest thing you'll ever see.
There's some very good spoofs of him.
But it says So first of all, it says after they banned it off Google, and then they say Apple has been mysteriously silent about, they're not banning it, even though they've been approached by campaigners in Vice News. And make no mistake, when Vice News does this, they do this on purpose. This is a media tactic. They go like, oh, so you guys have this alt-right misogynistic man baby guy like who's hurting the next generation of men on your platform. How do you feel about that? Do you support man baby people who are ruining the next generation of men? And then they put the microphone in the face of Apple and say it's a smear tactic to get them to pull the app. But they say it exploits teens and channels them towards misogynistic ideology. That is not a reason to ban an app. I'm sorry. That is.
I don't even really think
making themselves sound like stodgy.
And here's the thing with this app too. Like, I understand if he made an app for the War Room, which if you get into the War Room, there's like 3 of those guys have been straight up arrested and charged with trafficking women, and there's like a whole course in there that is being taught by Andrew Tate, Tristan Tate, and one other dude named Vlad Ubu, who's also been charged and arrested.
Just sounds like not a real person.
Teaching you, well, he's Romanian.
Yes.
They are people, and barely, but they're people. But like teaching you how to go ahead and get these women to fall in love with you and then traffic them and force them into like OnlyFans stuff. Also, however, the Real World app is not that. That is only a $50 a month course. That's basically, the app looks exactly like Discord, and it just teaches you like low-key internet hustles. So I really don't think this...
Right. They're just trying to get him on anything.
This is just trying to like virtue signal, I guess, and because it's Andrew Tate, it's bad, sort of thing. I don't really, I'm his biggest hater, right? I'm his biggest hater, and I don't think there's
the most credible one.
I don't think this is it. Yeah.
Yeah. You're like his most credible.
I think I do a fair job, but if you go ahead and you talk to his fans, they think I'm paid for by Congress.
Tell me like what all the response has been like to your Andrew Tate related content thus far.
Yeah, so I'd say no meme aside, like if I'm gonna answer that very genuinely, I'd say like most of it's been really positive. Like most of the people that react to the video, and most of his fans, believe it or not, actually see this information because it is damning evidence, and it's like, shit, if he's guilty, he should go to jail, right? So I think most of them the video's damning. If you go ahead and you watch it, I think, and you are an Andrew Tate fan, I think you'd be a lot more skeptical on whether he's innocent or not after watching it. So I think for the most part, it's been a positive response. Obviously, there's some people that are watching it that are like, that are taking his side and saying he's innocent and saying that, you can't traffic women unless you do it violently and stuff like that, even though the UN's definition of sex trafficking for the past 20 years, agreed upon by 150 countries, it doesn't have to be violent. You can coerce them and do it through fraudulent terms. Yeah. So,
okay. Do you think that he's doing a good job of rehabilitating his public image post house arrest?
Yeah, I do. I think publicly, like when he goes on publicly, like I think he's very convincing. Like again, like if I didn't look into the thing is, I just don't think it matters.
I think it's because he's using familiar language to the audience he has.
Yeah, and it's easy to hate the media, and the media has sucked covering him. They've done a terrible job, so they've given his fans any reason not to believe them and to believe Andrew Tate. So I don't even blame the people that think the media is all lying and is on his side, because they've done a terrible job.
Yeah, the media has kind of done themselves a disservice, but it's why people, like, whenever they
don't
get
even know they're doing it.
Whenever they get something right, you're just like, I have no sympathy for people not believing you because you've worked so hard to not.
You've given them any reason not to believe you.
Yeah.
So, we've got a $50 super chat from Jacob Edler here. A part-eing gift for you before my vacation. Keep up the good work. Catch you in 2 weeks.
The crisis
really will have to agree to disagree just in general, but happy Friday anyways. Good luck on the date, Brett.
That should have sent us the guys, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to set aside was the crisis meter seems to be frozen, not working. Therefore, I am going to automatically
Why is everything all messed up today?
It's
I've sabotaged all of you.
I think it's Willie's fault.
It's definitely Willie's fault.
Coming to ruin it.
We can all just blame him.
Second crisis party manual, baby. Yep. Thank you.
That is so loud.
I know. It's great.
Yep. You guys are all a bunch of schizos.
And we like to see it. Okay, so is if it's not Andrew Tate, like who do you think is the worst content creator that you have covered on your channel? And also, like, I kind of looked back on your channel. I saw you used to make more content about video games. Why'd you stop doing that? Are you going to start doing that again?
I did that when I was like, you know, I mean, I had like maybe 500 subs at the time when I made like video game content. That's more of just like you're young and you're figuring out how to make like videos on the internet in the first place, and that's what was popular. So, you know, you watch people like JonTron or AVGN. I was just trying to mimic that. I stopped doing it because, you know, you get older, you just don't play as many games. Like the stuff that is fun.
You don't have the time unless you're doing it for a living.
Yeah. Like when it comes to like Leafy and all that stuff, or like Ethan Klein or all of that, like I was way more into that sort of content.
That was a weird kind of golden age for YouTube. It was
the best time on YouTube.
Prior to or in the middle of Adpocalypse.
Yeah. But when it comes to like a worse content creator, like I think for the most part, even I love covering crazy people. I don't necessarily think most of them are bad people. I think Andrew Tate is, because he's trafficking women. I think he's like 100% guilty. I think he's a bad person. But when it comes to people like Sneeko or the Fresh and Fit guys, I think they got really silly opinions, and I love engaging with that and arguing that, because at the end of the day, it is kind of like low stakes, fun arguments, you know?
Like to me, it's like, I feel like I'm kind of just broken. Like I don't look at any, like I have no strong opinion on most of these people, because at the end of the day, if all you're seeing from them is an internet personality and articles from news sources that may be dubious at best, or dubious at worst, or like bad at worst, dubious for the most part at best, most of the time, right? Some people get it right once in a while, but you just don't have enough information to really form. Like I don't have enough information to really vote or have a strong opinion on most of these things. I see an Andrew Tate as a media figure who makes content.
I don't understand how you say it. There's a whole movement around that guy. He's not just a media figure. He's not just a guy that goes on and is like a friendly personality. Like that guy has like a whole cult following.
I have no opinion of that.
Guys,
like, I just don't.
I haven't been keeping a super close eye on the chat, but if any of you guys really strongly disagree with Willie about his take on Andrew Tate, if you care enough, then I do encourage you to watch his recent videos about him. I really do. Because they're really good. They're really well researched. Even if you still disagree with him by the end of watching those videos, which you're perfectly welcome to do, they're really well made.
They're not unfair videos.
I think they are
straight up, you know? The sources are right there.
Because he's not like the lying journalists. He's not like the lying media.
We're different.
And now you're doing FuzziTube.
So yeah, I want to go kind of get back to basics.
Back to the lighthearted stuff.
Back where I'm kind of sort of the, I like crazy people. I want to talk about crazy people. I like that there's new platforms like Kick and Rumble that are just like every crazy psycho that gets banned. They're like, come over here. I'm like, thank God. More content for me to watch, more content
That's
for me
why you're pro free speech, just because it means more crazy.
Yes, like I don't want any of these people banned. Keep them here. They make me laugh, and I love laughing at them. So
that's such a good point that I never thought about. Also,
I really like engaging. Like to me, this is all fun.
Yeah.
Like the internet is fun. Dialogues are fun. People disagreeing is fun. Like, you know,
there's been a bit of a dark cloud over the internet. I feel like, at least with the way I engage with it lately. Maybe I need to
expand on that.
Adopt more of your mindset about it. I think it's mostly because my algorithm is feeding me a lot of red pill type content, which is just like
I thought you were
the drudgery of. Well, I'm really not.
You're like a trad pillar.
I don't even know what pill. I'm chalky milk pilled. I like chalky milk.
What is chalky milk pilled?
It's just, you know, it's
a
lifestyle.
God, let's move past it.
But I think it's because my algorithm is feeding me doomer content on purpose, and I need to like engage with different content to get it to repair itself. But I like your mindset about it. It's just like the chaos is part of the joy of the internet.
Chaos is the fun.
Have you seen Crackhead Barney?
No.
I think you should talk about Crackhead Barney.
Okay.
As soon as possible. This is like a performance artist that lives in New York, and I don't even know what to say. You just need to see it for yourself.
Yeah, because you could either watch content on the internet and get triggered and mad, or you could say, screw it, I'm making a video about this, and we're gonna turn this into like a saga. And I like the latter.
Yeah.
You know, I'm the Xbox shitlord days of like, all right, let's just turn this into a trash talking match. I'm in.
All right. Well, it's hard within like. What do you think about the FuzziTube stuff? Do you think the guy's losing it a little bit?
Oh well, I mean, Fuzzi has been. Fuzzi's been manic before, right? If you guys ever remember the July 15th stuff. So July 15th was like
I remember Fuzzi Khan.
Yeah, Fuzzi Khan was July 15th, wasn't it?
Oh, really?
Yeah, where he went manic and he went ahead and he promised Drake would be there and he stalked Drake. Drake never showed up, but he like sold all these tickets based on that.
There's something interesting to me about like now that we live in a culture now where you don't become famous just as an actor, where like back in the day, sure, like people might have been wondered who you were as an actor, like they loved your work, but you were still kind of a mystery to them. We live in the opposite of that culture now. Now you see people actually lose their minds because their entire personality has become their meal ticket, and you watch them kind of implode or in a lot of cases rise to the occasion in real time. It's cool to see someone find their niche, kind of develop a personality and become very successful. But then the contrary to that, the corollary is that there's the people who find it, but then because they've gotten so used to that model where you pay for a lot of you pay for like emotional honesty in those situations, right? Like maybe a lot of it's a production, but people can sniff fake from a mile away. So you have to be willing to make a fool of yourself online in a lot of these cases. And they allow themselves to, like, I would never.
Yeah, there's no privacy.
Like, exactly. I wouldn't put myself out there like that ever in that way. Like you have to be a specific type of person to be able to do that. It's a really interesting look at, first of all, what people will do for fame or what people will do to hold on to notoriety and indeed money in our culture now, because that's a way that people have found, a means to get it. So it's like they used to talk about how like everybody would have 15 minutes of fame. Or I watched this old video. I mentioned it before here. It's like it was somebody brought like a video camera to like a 2004 or 5 graduation, and everybody's kind of like camera averse when they see a camera pointed at them. That's not the world we live in anymore. Now it seems like 80% of the population leans in. I mean, and of course that could be algorithmically based on what I'm seeing, what content is feeding me, just like what the doomer content that's being fed to you is. It feels like we are more inclined to lean into it now, and there's no privacy. There was we talk a lot about how there
doesn't want privacy.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see it brings out the worst in people, and indeed a lot of the worst type of people can be the most successful in those realms because they have no qualms.
Yeah, if you're somebody where you don't believe mental health and like that being a thing, watch FuzziTube. He'll change your mind. That dude, I have no doubt, is insane.
YouTube, though. YouTube, I don't think YouTube drove him insane. I think he is like clinically.
I think YouTube drove him insane. So ever since that airport incident, where if you want to give a recap on that, if you remember.
Well, okay, sure. So he's at this airport bar. He meets this chick. The chick claims to have been a victim of a sex ring.
Yeah.
And, they talk a little bit. He sends her $300. They go to the airport bathroom. He comes back and claims that he joined the Mile High Club.
Which is not true, because that's not the Mile High Club.
The rest is history.
And then he pays her like $1,000 more too. So he just basically turned her into a hooker. This woman who gave her sad trafficking story to him. But after that, like he went on he ended up going out to Miami and doing IRL streams with Aiden Ross, and he just purposely stopped taking his mental health medication.
Yeah,
that's common. That's a common thing.
And then he started blaming his employees for it, and his employees are like, "You won't give me the information I need to get it." And he's like, "Well, now you need to get security and tell them to lock me in a room until I can't get and not let me out until I give it to you." And he's like, "Bro, I can't do that. The securities can't do that, right? Security can't hold you hostage." Yeah. So it's
that's a crime.
Fuzzi Khan made me think that he was already insane because of the fact that he religiously believed that Drake was gonna be there. Like was not lying. He was not lying. He thought Drake was gonna be there. It was really crazy to watch that happen. When was that again?
That was
2019 or something?
That was 2020, maybe.
2020? That was crazy.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.